You ever get that feeling, you're walking into the movie theater, look up at the board, and it's deja vu all over again.
Oh, yeah. Another sequel, another remake, maybe a spin-off of something.
Exactly. And you hear people complaining all the time, right? Hollywood, no new ideas, that kind of thing.
It's a really common complaint, definitely. Feels like we're treading water sometimes.
But here's the question we're diving into today. Is it really all Hollywood's fault? Or do we, the audience, play a bigger part than we admit?
That's the core of it. We found this really interesting YouTube video, When You Realize the Audience Are Hypocrites, by Elvis Menezes.
Quite the title.
It is. Makes you stop and think, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Challenges that standard narrative.
Totally. So our mission here is to kind of unpack that. Look at the dynamic between what we say we want, originality, and where our money actually goes.
And maybe figure out why some of these newer original movies seem to struggle even when people are asking for them.
Right. So let's jump in. The video points to this specific moment, November 24th, 2024. Get this. For the first time ever, the entire top 10 worldwide box office, all sequels.
Wow. All 10.
Every single one. You had things like Inside Out 2, Dune 2, huge hits. Beetlejuice 2 was up there too.
Yeah, that's a pretty stark statistic.
Yeah.
Really shows the dominance of established properties.
It really does. And it leads straight into that central argument from the video.
Yeah.
Are we, the audience, maybe a little bit hypocritical?
Mm-hmm.
We complain about the lack of original stuff, but then when it comes down to buying a ticket,
We go for the familiar, the sequel, the franchise we already know.
yeah, it shifts the blame or at least spreads it around a bit, makes you look at your own choices.
And the video's fair. It does point out, look, original movies are getting made. It's not like they've vanished.
Right. The creator even showed his app, Cineplex, I think. Said he was in Canada, the land of maple syrup.
Right.
And listed off titles like Mickey 17, Opus Black Bag, Novocaine, Last Breath, a whole bunch of original films that were out.
But the key difference, and this is crucial, is that those films likely aren't doing the same kind of massive box office numbers.
Exactly. They exist, but they're not the blockbusters dominating the conversation usually.
They're fighting for visibility, for audience attention against these huge established franchises. It's an uphill battle.
Which maybe explains why we lean towards the sure thing, even if we say we want novelty. And that brings us neatly to the cost, doesn't it?
Oh, absolutely. The economics of going to the cinema today.
The video breaks it down using Canadian prices as an example, like $15 a ticket, maybe? So for a family of 4,
That's $60 right there.
before you even think about popcorn or drinks or gas to get there or just your time.
It's a significant investment. And when you're spending that much, the risk of an unknown original movie, it feels bigger.
Right. Compare that $60 plus extras to, say, Netflix, what is it, $15, $20 a month?
Something like that, yeah. For thousands of options you can watch from your couch.
The creator even shared this anecdote, right? Taking his kids to see an Avengers movie cost him $150.
Wow, yeah.
When you hear numbers like that, you can see why someone might hesitate to drop that kind of money on a film they know nothing about.
It definitely makes the safer, familiar bet seem more appealing. The cost-benefit analysis shifts.
Okay, so cost is one factor. Then there's the spectacle argument.
Uh-huh. The big screen experience.
Yeah, the video suggests that those massive, visually stunning films they mentioned, Oppenheimer, Dune, obviously Avatar, those are the ones that really need the cinema.
Right, the immersion, the scale, the sound, stuff you just can't replicate perfectly at home, even with a good setup.
And the perception, maybe, is that a lot of original films are smaller dramas, more character-focused.
Things that might translate perfectly well to a smaller screen. So the incentive to go out isn't quite as strong.
Makes sense. But then the video hits us with some counter. What about original films that did have the budget, the spectacle?
Ah, right, like The Creator.
Exactly. 2023, big original sci-fi, looked incredible.
Yeah, visually stunning.
Or The Fall Guy from 2024. That seemed to have everything, didn't it? Action, comedy, big stars, Ryan Gosling, Emily Blunt.
Kind of a classic summer blockbuster formula, but an original story.
Yeah. But both of them, they were disappointments at the box office.
They didn't connect with audiences in the way you might expect, given the elements involved.
So it makes you think, okay, it's not just about spectacle or stars. If these kinds of original movies are struggling too, what else is going on?
It complicates the picture, definitely. Maybe marketing plays a role, or just timing, audience mood.
Could be. And the video suggests 2 main theories for this whole disconnect.
Okay.
Theory 1, simple. Audiences are hypocrites. We say one thing, do another. We claim we want originality, but our wallets vote for sequels.
Direct. Maybe a little uncomfortable, but it's one possibility. A gap between aspiration and action.
But theory 2 offers a bit more nuance. It suggests there's a split.
A split? Between who?
Between Like the really hardcore movie fans, the cinephiles, the people maybe more vocal online about wanting diverse stuff, and the general movie-going public.
Ah, I see. So the average person going out on a Friday night might actually be perfectly happy with the big franchise.
Yeah, maybe they prefer the known quantity. And unless an original movie has a huge director attached, like Christopher Nolan or someone,
They're just less likely to take the gamble. Their priorities are different from the dedicated film buff.
it kind of makes sense, right? Two different segments of the audience with potentially different desires.
It does acknowledge that the audience isn't one monolithic thing. Different groups value different things.
So, okay, why does all this matter? Why should we care if sequels dominate?
Well, the video raises a pretty serious concern here. It's about the long-term health of filmmaking.
Right. If original movies consistently flop or just don't make enough money.
Hollywood is a business. Studios need to make money. They'll naturally invest less in things that seem financially risky.
And the fear is, what gets lost then? How many potential great directors never get their shot because their first idea was too original?
How many future classics just never happen? How many new franchises fail to launch because that first film was seen as too much of a risk?
Yeah, it's kind of a scary thought for the future of movies. You could end up with a much less diverse, less surprising landscape.
It really could stifle creativity and the evolution of cinema over time.
The video even makes you think historically, like, would The Goonies get made today? Or John Carpenter's Halloween, or The Thing?
Good question. They were original, maybe seemed a bit weird or risky back then.
If studios were as risk-averse then as they might become now, maybe not. Films we consider absolute classics might have struggled.
It definitely puts the current trend into perspective. These things we cherish were once gambles.
Thankfully, it's not all doom and gloom. The video does give a shout out to studios that are still taking chances.
Like A24, right?
Yeah.
And Neon, Blumhouse.
Exactly. They mentioned Sean Chandler's video pointing this out too. These places are still backing original voices.
And look at the results sometimes. Think about Get Out or Whiplash.
Totally. Hugely impactful films. Launched careers, Jordan Peele, Damien Chazelle. But would those have happened without a studio willing to bet on something different?
Probably not. It shows there's an audience for originality if it's done well and gets the right support.
They even included a quote, something like, someone involved in one of those films saying they thought it would never get.
Oh, I kept coming back to it because I knew if someone let me make this movie, that people would hear it and people would see it.
Yeah, that's it. Shows the passion behind these original projects.
It really does. And the belief that audiences will connect if given the chance.
So boiling it all down, the main takeaway seems to be, we, the audience, have the power, or at least a lot of it.
Our money talk. What we collectively choose to see sends a very clear signal to the industry.
What gets funded, what gets made more of, it's influenced by our ticket purchases. We vote with our wallet, essentially.
It's a direct feedback in many ways.
Now, the video does address the valid point. Nobody wants to spend, $60, $100 on a movie they end up hating. That fear is real.
Yeah, wasting money and time isn't appealing.
So it offers a couple of suggestions. Obviously, watch trailers, get a feel for it.
Standard practice.
But the more interesting one, I thought, was finding online critics or creators whose taste generally matches yours.
Using them as a guide.
Yeah. If someone you trust who likes the same kind of movies you do recommends an original film you're on the fence about, maybe that gives you the confidence to check it out.
That's actually pretty smart advice. Using trusted curators to navigate the options and reduce that perceived risk.
So it kind of brings us back to the start and the question the video ends on, which I think we should pose to you listening. How many times in the last year, honestly, have you gone to the cinema to see a truly original movie? One that wasn't a sequel or a remake or part of a huge existing franchise?
It's a good question for personal reflection. Just take a moment and think about your own habits.
Yeah, just consider it in light of everything we've talked about. No judgment, just awareness.
Exactly. How do your own actions line up with your stated preferences, maybe?
And that leaves us with a final thought to chew on. What responsibility, if any, do we have as individuals in all this? Does what you choose to watch today actually help shape what movies get made tomorrow and for the next?
It's a big question. How much influence do our individual choices really have on the future of cinema? Something to ponder.